Hello, Craig Burke, seconds out here at the Leicester Arena here, where I have Leicester's favourite, one of Leicester's favourites, and certainly Leicester's favourite boxing son. That's the Chris Pyatt, Rendall Munroe. Rendall, good to be home, good to be watching rather than boxing, I guess.
Yeah, quality. You know what I mean? I like to always come down and watch the progression of what's coming through. So yeah, do my bit.
Of course, and obviously you've been there and done it and so on. How are you finding your retirement now? You're still pretty much involved with the sport.
Yeah, great. Really, to be fair, obviously I still go down to the Chinfield, still get rounds in. Obviously, my whole thing was obviously hopefully early next year was to have a go at a bodybuilding competition, but obviously I've just been given a spot for the London Marathon, so obviously I've got that and it ticked the boxes, as they say. As
a celebrity, no less as well. You got a celebrity spot in there, so people remember you.
Yeah, that's it. That's all good. That's all good.
Yeah, and obviously you were Leicester's last world title challenger. I mean, you went and boxed Nakamura in Tokyo. I mean, how long ago was that now? That was
2010.
2010. So coming up 8 years ago now. It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy how time
flies when you're having fun this age.
Yeah. I mean, your record reads like a who's who of some of the people that have now gone on to real great things and so on. Frampton, Lee Selby, Josh Warrington, stuff like that. Have you always kept in touch with how the lads are doing since then?
Yeah, I kind of watch to a degree. I think for me it's one of them where I'm always real about boxing. Do you know what I mean? Certain fights you're watching, certain fights you think they ain't really 50-50 fights. So is it worth watching? Like you say, obviously I've come tonight watching the early doors fights as you see the 50-50 fights and where it's supposed to go. Do you know what I mean? So
of course. And obviously, all the talk at the moment is with Lee Selby and Warrington that these guys are going to meet, or there's a lot of things that could go on. Who do you think should meet who, and how could you see that going if it does come on?
I think the Warrington Selby fight is a very good fight. You know what I mean? I think it's one the public are waiting to see. Obviously, like I say, I think sometimes there's a lot of fights that we should see we don't see. Obviously, Kell Brook, Amir Khan, people like that. So for me, it's a good fight. Obviously, styles make fights. I think for me, when I box Selby, I think the fight was stopped very premature. Yes. I think there was, we can argue about it, but boxing's boxing, and I think with the Warrington thing, I think by then I'd already decided that it's time for me to walk away now. Obviously, the fights that I should be getting, I wasn't getting, and then it's like you say, in boxing, 70% of it is mental. Do you know what I mean? You can train as hard as you want, but if your mind ain't in the right place, it don't work, does it? So I think personally for myself, when I was going to fight Warrington, I think I'd already lost that drive about where I was going and chasing goals anymore.
Yeah. How did they differ as opponents, the two?
Like I say, I think Warrington was very sharp. To be fair, I was kind of shocked how very precise he was. He don't really waste nothing. He's in your face type of thing. Whereas Selby's more of a flashy, do you know what I mean? So I think with Warrington's style, I think it might give him a bit of trouble. Do you know what I mean? As long as he can cut him down well, I think trying to get Warrington to do his thing, to stand in front, keep it sharp. You know what I mean? As for Selby likes to, you know what I mean? Sometimes I think Selby's a very confident boxer, do you know what I mean? I think sometimes if you can take that confidence away from him, would it be a whole different ballgame?
Of course. If I had to put you on the spot, Rendall, who could you see coming out on top? If it happens, of course,
I'd say a draw, but if I had to take one side, I'd go Warrington.
Cool. But it's an interesting fight. You'd love to see it.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course. And obviously, I think the last time Warrington was out there, he was doing with Kiko Martinez. You know the guy.
Well,
so great memories.
Let's be right. Kiko Martinez, I beat him up twice. How long ago? Do you know what I mean? So I think for me, the only downside to boxing for me, it will never say Rendall Munroe was good enough to be a world champion, and obviously got one chance at it, and that was it. Like I say, when I look around at, like you say, people like Kiko Martinez, I beat him twice, he went on to be a world champion. I stopped Terrazas, he went on to be a world champion. I used to spar with Jay McDonald all the time, 2-time world champion. I sparred with Stu Hill many a times, he was a world champion. Terry Flanagan, you know what I mean, all the time, he's a world champion. So I kind of look and think, I'm grateful for what I did in boxing and I'm happy for what I did, but it's got that kind of, sometimes they always say,
time and luck as well, isn't it? I mean,
you know
Nakamura was an exceptional champion.
Yeah. That's it. I think personally myself, that was the only time I ever made a mistake when I was preparing for myself to fight, and it shows. Do you know what I mean? So when you're at that level, any little mistake will show. And obviously for me, I thought that going up to that level, my first ever time at a world title fight, I thought that I'd go on to bigger and better things, but obviously it didn't work, did it?
Of course. Well, there was always the memory of various snooker halls and public houses in Leicester having to open at 10 o'clock in the morning. People hammering the door down trying to get in. So.
That's it, the great times.
No one has Sky at home.
That's it.
Okay, well, Rendall, it's fantastic to see you again. It's great to see you enjoying retirement. We'll see you again.
Quality.